Hello my friends, welcome to my next Battlefield video. This video is all about a Battlefield 2 Modern Combat fan remake. This is something that I've been working on in the background for years really, just as a hobby and kind of as a way to preserve the game. I was basically modelling one of the maps, and it's something I've always wanted to do, and I've always wanted to make a game in general. But recently the Discord group I set up for the game, quite a few members have joined in the last week, and I thought for fun I would just post up my progress, but it actually generated quite a lot of interest, and it also led to another modeler getting involved in the project, which I didn't think would actually happen, especially for a very long time or anything like that. So really I thought it would be wise, and the community thought it would be a good idea for me to make a video just to let everyone know about this project, and that if you want to get involved, that there's room for you to do that. If you have experience in that field, we're actually quite keen to get a game developer on board, because right now it's just me and one other guy called Proximity that are actually modeling the levels, but we'd like to see if there's someone out there that could actually help us develop the game. And it's probably not wise to share this so early on because we're in such early stages, but at the same time, the sooner we can get people to help, the better. But just to let you know that it is very early stages, and I thought I'd make this video to let you know what I'm working on at the minute, what progress, if any, we've made, and how you can get involved. This is going to be a lot quicker than my normal videos. Usually I'd spend about an hour. I want to try and make this as quick as possible, just to show you what progress I've made, just an overview video really. And I guess with that being said, I should just jump right in and show you guys what it is I'm actually doing. And what it is I'm doing, what I typically start with if I'm doing any type, because I do 3D modeling in my professional work, but I do like architectural 3D modeling, so I've got no actual experience in developing a game, and that's why we've made so much progress in this last week, because Proximity does have experience in modeling games, so the information he's fed me has just been saved me months of work really, and really made me better at modeling for games. Like now I've got a better understanding of how I should be modeling and what programs he's using, and we'll get to what I'm using in a minute. But the first thing I do whenever I'm modeling anything is you have to start, and actually Proximity asked for this, was you start with a 2D layout, like some sort of preferably a vector drawn, line drawn, just to give you an idea of where things are sitting on the map. And really for me it's about scale, like where things, how big things should be and things like that. And I didn't have anything to go by, so I mean this is going back probably a couple of years ago. My first step really was to go through all of my footage and try and find a point in time in the game where I brought up the game's map, and probably had a little bit zoomed in, because if you're zoomed too far out then you're not going to get a lot of detail. So it took me hours. I mean, I said I've been working on this for years, but this is like one night's work, was me just like looking through footage to try and find a map of this, so I can like have a rough outline of the thing. So this level's called Bridge Too Far, and I'll show you a little bit more footage of that later on, but basically this is like one corner of it. Then later on in totally different footage, I brought up my map again, as chance would have it, and I was able to grab another screenshot of that. And then again, we're not getting the full map here, this was actually a CTF, this one. So then I jumped to another part of the map, and basically what I did was I took these 3 images and stitched them together to get a fuller picture in Photoshop, and this is like all 3 images overlaid, and that's what I was using at the start to try and get a feel for the scale of this map, and again where things are laid out. But the problem was, whenever as best as I could, like this was captured on the Xbox 360, but still there wasn't like super high res, and then I had to like crop the image and stuff like that, so it became quite pixelated very quickly. And I did start drawing this, but I abandoned it very quickly because I wasn't happy with the results. So instead what I did was I took my the guide for the game has like lots of maps and stuff, so I took the guide and I scanned that in like at the highest possible res I could, and that's not only gave me an overview of the map, but also a really high res one that I can zoom way in, and it doesn't really pixelate until you get like really close in. And I think this is actually like an image of the model, so that's like as good as you could possibly get, I think. And it's given me a really good idea of the layout of this map, and also the scale, because I kind of took one of these storage containers down here and used that to scale the entire map from. So with that image, I basically brought it into a program called AutoCAD. I could have done this in Illustrator, but basically something that would give you a line drawn, like vector drawn. Let's see here, like a vector based program that you can draw over images and stuff like that, and that's what I've used here. So like all these blue lines and red lines here, red lines representing where each of the storage containers. This is basically a big containment terminal for storage containers, and like a kind of industrial area with a couple of roads. This is like, so there's American base here, no sorry, this is the Chinese base and this is the American base. But in CTF you're actually only going to see like this section of the map, like a small chunk of the map, and that's what we're focusing on first of all, just getting the CTF area complete. And that's always been my goal, is to just start from the CTF bit, because I was a bit of a CTF player. So from that map, what I did was, I have to open up something else, hold on. I'm going to open up my 3D model now. So from that 2D map, from the 2D layout, all I was left with was some, let's see. So all I was left with was the lines, which is these lines here. And that's pretty much given me, oh actually before I get too much into my model, what I should do is, let's show you guys, hold on. Let me close this model down and let me show you guys some footage of Bridge Too Far, because I know there's some people out there, you might not have seen this, let's see, widescreen. Yeah, you might not have actually seen this level before, so I think it'd be good to show you some like good bird's eye view footage of me just like flying the chopper around the map and stuff. So you have a couple of roads, few larger buildings, and down there is where the containment terminal is, and that's where most of the action really takes place, especially in CTF. And then in CTF, that's a little, down below me right now is a little base, like a little miniature base, a lot smaller than what the Conquest base would be. Up there is the Chinese building that's usually referred to as, because it's got like some large Chinese symbols. And we have a couple of buildings that you just can't, like over here you can't really get into these buildings, and there's no real reason to be on this part of the map unless you're going for the artillery strike. There's no flags down there or anything like that. There's no point in being there. So really large map for its time. Like this is one of the large. I was really shocked by the size of this map when it was first released. So yeah, that's a good overview there. So you've got two really large cranes, a couple of smaller buildings. So down roughly where my crosshair is aiming right now is where the Americans would spawn in CTF mode, and you've got a train track that runs through it, and a couple of bridges, some of which are broken from the fighting. And that's really it. That's just trying to give you a bit of an overview of it. So let's go back to my model. Let's open up my model again. I'll show you my progress of what I've been doing. All right, so this is this is just the rough 2D drawings I've been that I've done, and that's given me my layout. And from that, this is what I've modeled so far. So really, just the overall center island, I guess you could call it. I have went into detail, like I've put the stairs in and stuff. I haven't really joined them to the model just yet. Let's see if I could, because we've got some of these lines and stuff, but I kind of want to have this all as one piece, so like I have to tidy this up. I didn't want to just do it too soon, just in case. I want to keep everything separate for this for now, because what's eventually going to happen is this program I'm using is called SketchUp, and it's not designed for games, but you can export elements out of this and import them into game software. So my plan at the minute is to, like, so for example, take this crane, and I can move that around or do whatever I want with it. I can copy that out of this, and paste that out as a separate entity, and then import that into Maya or any equivalent 3D software basically. But really this is just for me to get the overall layout and stuff like that. So the main things I've modeled like in detail is the crane. Like there's no textures on it yet, and we'll go into that later, but the crane, some of the storage containers, and for me more importantly the actual layout of the storage containers, how these are placed around the map, and that'll help when we come to actually putting this in a proper game. Again, also roughly where the train track lies, some of the fencing and stuff like that I've modeled, and even like there's some ones that have like holes in them and stuff. And I could texture this in SketchUp if I want it pretty easily, so you can just grab like a chain link fence texture, make it like darker, or change the scale of it. But there's going to be some compatibility issues there, so I'm leaving all textures out of the model for now, and I'm going to wait until I just want to get the feel for the map first. And I guess I should talk a little bit about, let's just change back. I guess I should talk a little bit about the textures and things like that, what else I've been doing. Or actually, how I'm modeling this I think is more important. Let me just see if I've got the right images. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. I've been on OBS for a little while. So yeah, so to model this in detail, because I can't just jump into this game anymore, and because the servers aren't on anymore, now I have to like dig through lots of old footage, and luckily I have lots of old footage, and I can like keep playing until I find some footage that of the part I'm modeling. And the crane in this map is something that you don't really spend any time on. Like possibly people would have jumped out of a chopper and landed on it to snipe, but like you don't really get any close-up views of what this is. And you might be wondering how this picture is taken, because it's like up in the air, right up in the crane. A lot of people don't know this, but you can actually, there's a glitch. Right now I'm parsing where that car is parked. There's a glitch you can actually shoot into the back of the car, and then it bounces you up in the air, and you can actually land on the crane. This is one of this. I think it was called a super bounce or super jump or something. And this is an image taken from me jumping right up in the air, and then again parachuting back down. So this is me looking. This is me actually standing in the car, looking up at the crane. And all these pictures were perfect for me because I could like save these and then like model from the pictures. This is me getting shot up into the crane, and this is me landing on the crane. And this is great for, especially for any texture artists who want to help out. This will give us the exact textures that were on these surfaces. And again, this is just a view of me standing on top of the crane looking out, just to give me an idea of how to lay out these shipping containers. Another good image there to see what the layout's like, and where, especially where the fences are, where the train track is in relation to all that as well. Some lampposts and stuff there in the background too. Again, just looking at the other crane and stuff like that. Some little gantries and walkways and stuff that you would just not know where these should be. So we're trying to recreate this as identical to the original game as possible. And again, this is just looking down at the building below to see how far the crane protrudes, and again where the placement of that building should be. So this is all going to be really helpful for me. So that's what I use to model the crane, like those kind of images. Another thing I want to talk about is the Chinese writing. I have no idea how to, like, what any of these Chinese symbols are, and to sit and manually recreate them is kind of difficult. From you could get it close, but I don't think you could get it like perfect. So I took to Twitter. Actually, this is quite a long time ago, like 2017. So that's a couple of years ago now. But I posted up, does anyone speak Chinese, or can they identify these symbols? Because I just have no idea where I would even start with this. And thankfully some people on Twitter did actually come back, which is great, and they came back with the actual text, like proper computer text I could copy and paste, and that was really helpful for me, because I could copy and paste that text into a graphic program and then like bring it into my again, just same as I did before. Like I make it into a line drawing essentially, and then just yeah, just all you do is have a line draw and then just like create a face out of it and just pull it up, and then that's your Chinese text. So there's a lot of Chinese text, especially in this level as well. So I want to try and get that as authentic as possible, get it as close to the correct symbols as possible, just because it's going to look so much better. And then the other thing I briefly mentioned was texturing. So I've dabbled a little bit in this. This is all just me trying to see what I can and can't do, where I need help. Whenever I do any type of project like this, I always just try and do just to see what I can do and what I can't do, and how I can put it all together. And to be honest, up until the last week or so, until Proximity got on board, a lot of things that I thought I was doing right, I actually wasn't doing right. So him getting involved has really helped me. Not only the fact that he's going to be modeling some of this stuff, which is a really big help for me, but just the type of information he's able to give me and the things he's able to tell me about how games are modeled as opposed to what I'm doing. And it just turns out there's so many things that, for example, these containment, these little containers down here. Originally, I started with a really complex. Like, let me just show you. So this is the final one of the final. This is like the only texture I've spent a lot of time on, and this is me just playing around with how I can get it to scale on the actual storage containers. But so what I'd originally done was I modeled this like really detailed 3D model of a storage container with the proper all these the side panels all corrugated and properly modeled as corrugated. But it turns out that the file then is like, I think it was like 6 meg or something, which doesn't sound like a lot, but then once you start, like, there could be 50 of these storage containers on the map, so like 6 times 50, and it just accumulates and it makes the map far too big. So I stripped it way back, and what I did was I went back in the original game and thought, well, you know what they've done is they've taken a flat surface and put a textured image, and just created some shadow in the image and made it look like this. This is the image here. Just by creating some dark lines and stuff, you just make it look 3D, and that way you save a lot of file size. And I did that, and I kind of settled on. I don't know if I have any more pictures of it, but I settled on what the container you see there, and it is just like a flat plane with some handles on it, but Proximity is even saying that is just too detailed, so like I need to just go back to the drawing board now and just take the handles off, and it probably will just end up being a flat box with some textures on it. But we just need to optimizing this is much different to what I'm used to. I'm used to getting away with a lot more detail, like but for a game things are obviously completely different. I have no idea how that works exactly. So but that's pretty much where I'm at with it at the minute. Hopefully there will be some more updates and things like that. I would really hope that you guys could think about joining. Like I said, we're keen to try and get a game developer. That's what we don't have experience doing that. What we probably could do is just pull this into a game engine like Unreal or Unity, and we could just run around in it, but it's not going to feel the same. Like, we need to program the game to play the way it used to play, and at the minute I just don't have that experience. But I always intended this to be a really long running project, and I would just like teach myself how to do it, but that's obviously really slow. If we can get any more help out there, then that's obviously going to make releasing this so much quicker. Our end goal at the minute is for us to just model the CTF part of things and get the CTF map up and running, because it's a little bit shorter, and then eventually we'll make that map a little bit bigger, and we'll have the full conquest and stuff like that. But this was just a really quick video just to let you know what we're working on, and really to give a shout out to the group, and if anyone wants to join that, because there's lots of other little things that we're working on too, like video projects and other things that hopefully are coming up soon. But yeah, so look, thanks for watching, and please don't forget to check out some of my other Battlefield videos, and check the link in the description. Even if you don't want to get involved in the project and you just you used to play the game and you want to just chat to some old players. That's what we're finding, a lot of people just reminiscing in the group, and it's fun to read some of their stories. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully it'll be a progress video pretty soon.